Hello, Richard and Annalise. It's me and Brian, Jeremy and Brian from Southern Postcapes. Hey, we got to apologize. We got a little behind this week because we're out in the field constantly. The rain has delayed a few projects, which had us out in the field playing a little bit of damage control, which is kind of normal during construction during the summer. But that put us about 2 days behind in our designs and proposals. But we're here now, and we wanted to talk you through your design and your proposal. So this is going to be about a 25 to 30-minute video, and it's going to be well worth your attention because we're going to walk through the entire design and then, of course, line item by line item through the proposal, and then reiterate a lot of things that you've already learned. But we know that the information that we gave you is like drinking from a fire hose. It's a lot of stuff to try to retain. You're going to need to have a little bit of a reinforcement in that method, in that regard. So that's why we're going over this again. So please do yourself a favor and watch the whole video because it's going to really bring to life the value of what we do. And it's also going to arm you with all the right questions to ask every single builder that you talk to from here forward. So let's check out your design first. So right here, you're going to see your design. Actually, I want to change something because we were just playing around with some different concepts. I want to make this river rock instead of soil. So let's change that real quick. There we go. Awesome. And then of course there's a little quirks here and there with some of the stuff in this design program. So I'm going to clean this up. I want to make sure that that's soil. So we're just going to bump that up just ever so slightly. And then we'll get into the nitty-gritty here. Whoops. There we go. All right. And let's change all this, which was my original vision. And then change this to soil. There we go. Awesome. Okay, so you've got your design there. So what we did was we dressed up the design with just a couple landscaping concepts. You may love it, you may hate it. We don't do landscaping, but we just want to give you an idea of what can be done. If you turn the sun off here, you can see we put some landscaping lights around, but you might have a different vision. And if you do have a different vision, feel free to direct us however you want to direct us, and we'll draw that in as well. We just want to make sure that you have a master plan to follow. Even though we're only going to do the pool and the hardscapes, we want to make sure that you can follow a master plan with any other contractor that's going to be in your space. So use us for that. It's just going to make your life a lot easier. A couple things I want to fix though. I'm going to come in here and make sure that we have the proper coping. There we go. And we should be good to go now. All right. So what we have is a freeform pool. Now, Annalise, I know you want to see the other design as well. I just didn't want to delay this process. So what we're going to do is give you this proposal, this design, and it'll give you some context. And then we'll go ahead and put that other pool shape that you really like and price that out as well. But I wanted to get this ahead, get to you right away so that you understand kind of like, you know, you start discussing your budget with each other and figuring out exactly what you want to do back there. So, but we will get you a second design and proposal. Now, what we have here is a freeform pool. If we look at the specs of the pool, we're going to pull up something called smart data in this program. Whoop, if I can find my mouse, there it is. There we go. And all right, so the envelope is going to be that green rectangle that goes around the pool. Right now, we're at about 32 feet by 16.5 feet. We add the area, which is the surface area of the pool. We're at 380, we're just going to round up to 386 to make it easier. Now, we have a perimeter measurement of about 83.5 feet. And then a volume of 11,313 gallons. And our depth profile right now is going from 4 feet to 6 feet. If you look at our hardscapes, right now we have hardscapes of 800 square feet. And right now we have a herringbone travertine in there, but as you see in the proposal here shortly, there's a lot of different options for you. We have a tanning ledge, a bubbler, and a shear descent waterfall. Of course, that shear descent waterfall can look a lot of different ways. We're happy to redesign that however you want, but at least you'll get a price on that one right there and have a good idea of what those are going to cost. Also, what we've done over here is put your equipment pad over here in the corner, which there's plenty of space. So that is a 4 foot by 9 foot equipment pad, which is going to handle your pump, your filter, and a heat pump if you want that temperature control. So hopefully that gives you a good idea of what this design's going to look, or what this pool's going to look like in your backyard. But before we switch over to your proposal, what I want to do is once again look at what the sun's going to do at different times of the day. So we're going to make it 8 a.m. Okay, and now we're going to go from, this is July 4th, 4th of July of this year. So 8, 9, 10, 11, 12, 1, 2, 3 p.m., 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9 o'clock. So you see you're going to get a lot of direct sunlight on that pool. It's a beautiful design. I really appreciate both of us. We just really appreciate you guys participating in this process. It really makes it a lot easier, eliminates the back and forth when you participate. So thank you for that. But now it's time to go into the proposal. All right, so we're taking a look at the first page of your proposal. It's a cover page. And I just realized that even though this is a very pretty picture, the pool is mostly covered by the second picture. But that's okay because you have a lot of other pictures to look at. Top down, all these different angles. You're going to see your personal information at the top. Me and Brian looking super cute here in our personal or our contact information there. A few different pictures. We try to take pictures from different angles and different times of the day to give you a really good idea of what this project's going to look like in your backyard. So definitely take a look at all that, and even one picture from inside the house looking out. Now you scroll down a little bit more into the actual proposal, and at least what we have is your information because you're the one who submitted the request. But as we move down, you're also going to see an expiration date. That does not mean the prices are going to change or change at all possibly in the next 2 weeks. But we do have to have some type of delineation to where, you know, if somebody wants to come back at some point and move forward later in the game, we will have to recalculate the price for the current price book. Now, as we go to the pool package, you're going to see the size of the pool, which we already covered, 386 square feet, about 16.5 by 32, 83.5 perimeter measurement, 4 to 6 feet of depth. Now, this is where things get real fun. You're going to get a lot of education here. You already got a lot of that, but we want to reiterate it and just reinforce it, rather. So if you look at... if you look at the structural part of the pool, that number 4 steel reinforced bond beam, the bond beam is going to be the equivalent of the white rim on that red Solo cup. The white rim on that cup is going to be the primary structural element of that cup. And if that rim were to be cut or damaged, then the cup's going to collapse in your hand and make a mess. And we don't want that to happen with your cup. We don't want it to happen with your pool. So what we're going to do is we're going to build your pool with number 4 steel in the bond beam, which is twice as strong as the number 3 steel that meets code. And we did mention several times during our face-to-face meeting that you don't want a pool that's built to building code. You want a pool that's going to exceed building code, because in the state of Florida and also the state of Alabama where we serve, building code is not rigorous with pools. So you don't want to chase the bottom and have a pool that's built to code. You want to make sure you're exceeding that to get a lifelong lasting pool and something that's going to be super easy to maintain, and then also something that's very, very affordable to operate after it's built. Now, if we move along, you're going to have your NPT frost-proof tile, lots of upgrade options that you'll see below. But right now we've got you priced out at the standard. Our coping is 6-inch by 12-inch travertine. We did talk about the benefits of travertine. Very cool to the touch, very high slip coefficiency. It looks beautiful, it's timeless, and it stands up against the salt and iron content in the water. It really is the perfect solution. I would stay away from any man-made products like a concrete paver because they will fade in the sun, they're rougher to the touch, and they're very hot to the touch, and they will have to be replaced in about 10 years. So just keep that in mind. Travertine is going to last pretty much forever. Now, interior finish, we don't want you to have blue quartz plaster. This is a plaster finish that you're priced out for right now. We talked extensively when we met with you about the interior finish. You're going to want pebble. We're going to talk about that a little bit later. Steps and benches are per design. You have your Hayward TriStar XL variable speed commercial grade pump. And what that means is this pump is undergone far more rigorous testing than residential pumps in order to get that commercial designation. It's going to last longer. It's going to be more durable. But the big thing here is that we have a pump that's about a full horsepower, or at least almost a full horsepower bigger than the pump everybody else is going to offer you. And the reason we do this is because we want to dial that down to 50% capacity so that you can move as much water as a smaller pump that has to be maxed out in order to move that water. But the good thing is by having a bigger pump that's dialed down in capacity, you still move the same amount of water, but you're only using 25% of the electricity, and your pump's going to last 2 to 3 times longer because you're never overworking it. So the pump is a very big deal. Just make sure that if any builder offers a larger pump, that they're also going to upgrade the plumbing. We're going to do 3-inch suction plumbing to make sure that we're capitalizing on the strength of the pump, but also so that we can actually pull debris out of the bottom of the pool, which we'll talk about in a second. Now, the Hayward Swim Clear 325, that is a cartridge filtration system. And the cartridge filters are superior to sand filters in the sense that you only have to clean them once every 18 months. They never negatively affect the hydraulics of the pool like a sand filter. A sand filter is going to get gunked up, especially during the heavy season, like in the middle of the summer when you're in their pool all the time. If you don't clean that filter or backwash that filter every week or 2 weeks, then you're going to create too much head pressure on the pump, and you're going to cause the pump to use more electricity, and you're going to shorten the life cycle of the pump as well. So you want to stay away from that. But a cartridge filter is going to filter out 5 times smaller of a particulate, and you only have to clean them once every 18 months. However, I tell my customers once every 12 months because it's much easier for you to keep track of. Now, if we move down further, we have our AquaRite salt cell. The salt cell is what's going to give you the most comfortable swim experience. Now, don't make the mistake of thinking salt pools don't have chlorine. Salt pools absolutely have chlorine, but they do not have chloramines. And chloramines is what we smell and feel in a traditional chlorine pool. You're not going to get that in a salt pool. A salt pool is going to use this salt cell to convert salt using the process of electrolysis into chloramine without the off-gassing. So it feels comfortable. You have all the sanitizing benefits of a traditional chlorine pool, but with no discomfort. Now, just for a little context, the ocean has 35,000 parts per million salt content in that water. A teardrop has 9,000 parts per million. A typical salt cell is going to have 9,000 parts per million, making it a comfortable swim experience. But our salt cell can go as little as 3,000 parts per million because it's extremely efficient at capitalizing on the salt to convert into chlorine. And you can adjust how much salt it's capitalizing on with an app on your phone. It's that easy. Moving on to the next page, you're going to have 2 Hayward ColorLogic lights, and those lights are going to illuminate your pool, much like what you see right here. Beautiful, and you'll be able to control that from automation on an app on your phone. If we look at our main drain, which we touched on a little bit earlier, the MDX R3 main drain is a debris accepting main drain that will pull debris out as large as a walnut. Not a golf ball. Golf ball's a little bit too big, but a walnut will fit through that, and that's one of the reasons we want bigger plumbing as well. So the trick to keeping a clean and easy to maintain pool that doesn't cost much money and electricity to operate is the efficient movement of water. The circulation is paramount when you're talking about the long-term satisfaction of owning a pool. This is the starting point right here. So debris accepting main drain hooked up to 3-inch plumbing. Then we move on to the other spot where you're going to have suction, which is going to be your Paraskim V Venturi skimmers. You're going to have 2 Venturi skimmers in your pool with a basket capacity that's 3 times the size of a normal basket, which means you're not having to empty them as often. And that's very important because when the baskets get filled up, they start making the pump work harder to pull water through the skimmer. So you want to have more capacity so that you don't have to empty them as much, but that you're also not going to, once again, create too much head pressure on the pump, causing it to burn out early, or also using too much electricity to operate. So those are your skimmers. Now, moving down a little bit further, your Paramount Eco Pool, this is the game changer in the industry. Now that we do this is our standard. This is our lowest level pool, and we do it day in and day out. And this is where your circulation is going to be near perfect. There's one other thing you can do to make it perfect, but this is as near perfect as a standard pool can get. So if you look at that ordinary pool on the left-hand side, you're going to see the return where the water is coming back into the pool is built into the wall and is built very high on the wall. And the problem with that is that return and the other returns that are built into the pool are carrying the salt water with it that has the chlorine in it, but there's no way for that chlorine to mix throughout the entire body of water. And that's why you're going to see that gunk on the bottom. So you want to be able to mix water and churn that water so that the chemicals don't evaporate off the top, creating a chemical imbalance that you fight with constantly. That's not our pool. Our pool is the second 2 diagrams. So you're going to see that we put 3 returns on the bottom of the pool. The first diagram there, the middle diagram there, is showing the circulation. So you're going to have 3 returns in the wall, and you're going to have 3 returns in the floor. Pardon me, I've got teammates trying to get a hold of me. Now they work on a zone-based system. So you do not want more than 3 or maybe maximum 4 returns working at any given time. Our system is only going to have 3 returns working at any given time because it's going to switch between the floor zone and the wall zone every 3 minutes or so. And that's going to mean that when the water comes back in, it has maximum water pressure. So think about somebody pushing water through one line that is then split into 6 different lines, that's going to cause very, very poor water pressure. Well, with ours, you only have 3 lines moving at one time, which is going to maximize your water pressure, carrying the chemicals. And then also, if you have temperature control like that last diagram there, that's going to make your heat pump work far less to achieve the temperature that you want, because now you have warm or hot water, or hot or cool water coming into the pool, depending on how you're using your heat pump, to mix in from the bottom and the top, and it doesn't have to work as hard to maintain the temperature, which becomes even more energy efficient. So hopefully that makes sense to you. But if you have questions about that, we're here to answer them for you. All right, so moving on. Paralevel. So can you believe that there's a lot of builders around here that are not putting autofill or overflow features in the pool? That's a crime. They've been around forever. They're cheap to install, and there's no reason that a pool should not have an autofill or an overflow. So with other builders, you need to ask them about that, because they should be offering it, but most of them don't unless you push it. So the autofill is going to be basically replacing the need to put a hose in your pool when evaporation occurs. So there's a float system in the pool where once the water level drops from evaporation a little bit, the float will turn the system on, and it's going to add water into your pool to get it back to midway through the waterline tile where you want it. And you need it there because if that water level drops below the tile, you're exposing your interior finish of the pool, which is not good. It's going to dry it out, it's going to make it brittle, and you're going to have to replace it prematurely. So you do not want that water level dropping. So if you go on a vacation, you don't want to come back to a pool that has had a lot of water evaporating out, because that's going to cause your pool to get damaged. So, and then the overflow is basically is going to siphon any extra water from big downpours out of the pool instead of spilling over the pool, where water could essentially wash in directions that we don't want it to wash into. The overflow feature is going to take that water, it's going to terminate that line into your normal drainage pattern in your yard, so that you don't have flooding occurring as an overflow. All right, automation. Our automation is awesome. It's the best automation in the industry. You work it off an app on your phone, control the lights, the pump, the temperature control, pretty much everything. Water features you can control on it. It is a very sophisticated automation. So it gives you some peace of mind because you can operate that pool from anywhere in the world. And then we do not have the heat pump priced out for you because we have those prices down below. But if you do want to add a heat pump to your pool, then this is the guy that you want to, this is the device you want to use. You can heat or chill your pool. It's extremely energy efficient. It's always cheaper to install these during construction. You can install them after construction later, but you're going to spend about $2,000 more doing it. So I do encourage customers, if you know you want temperature control, do it during construction, because it's going to save you about $2,000. All right, so moving down, this is the fun stuff. We did give you that military discount right off the top. You're also going to notice that we haven't listed the hardscapes in this price yet, and our price for the pool right now is $73,360. But that does not include some things that you really need in your pool. So what we're going to go down and do is go down into the notes and talk about all of the fun stuff that you get to look at. Now, the legend is going to tell you how to navigate this. Anything in orange is already shown in your design, but not yet priced out in the package above. So if I scroll down a little bit, you're going to see down here that the tanning ledge here, which bleeds over to the second page, is $875. It is in your design, but I didn't price it out yet because I want you to tell me what you want after seeing the prices of everything. Now, there's a caveat here. I want you to remember this, that every price that you see down here in the notes is going to be listed at regular price. That does not mean I can't discount it. I can discount just about every line item that you're going to see down here, but you just need to tell me what you want, and then we'll put it in the package, send it back to you with all the discounts that we can give you. All right, so back to the legend, anything in yellow is an upgrade we highly recommend because it's going to add tremendous value to your pool long term, like saving money in electricity, maintenance, repairs, et cetera, et cetera. And then the green section is all about potential additional costs. Now, you don't have to face most of those because they don't apply to you, but I do leave them, and I'll show you right now down at the bottom. I do leave the entire list for all of my customers because I want you to be able to go, oh, okay, well, if we hit groundwater, what does that look like? You can hit the link and read the article that I wrote on dewatering and why it's needed sometimes. You could do the same thing for, you can read about stormwater plans and sometimes why they're needed for permitting purposes. But I leave all that there because I want you to have the opportunity to educate yourself as much as you desire. Now, moving back up, Okay, all the way up. So many things to look at. All right, and then also, I just is just saying, use the hyperlinks to go where you want to go to find the information you want. Now, equipment specifications. This is all the equipment. So if you want to learn about that pump, you can click the link, and it's going to take you to the product spec page right there, and you can go all through that and look at it. Same thing with the cartridge filter. You're going to have all the information. The app, which is the automation, you can dive all the way into that. This is ones you really want to look at is the EcoPool, because if you go to the EcoPool, you can play the video from here, and it's going to further explain the benefits of the EcoPool. Okay. When I did say there's only one other thing that you can do to give yourself better circulation, that would be your in-floor cleaning system, which is going to be right here. So the in-floor cleaner takes those floor returns that rotate, and they put them all through the entire pool, which is going to drop your energy cost down to 10% of what a standard pool is going to need to operate. And it's going to save you a tremendous amount of money on maintenance. You don't have to pay anybody to clean. It is an amazing system. But as you're going to see, when I go back up here, that system's going to cost you $10,335, which will pay for itself in about 7 years. And then, but from day one, you're saving time, right? So you're not going to have to clean the pool. It's a 99% clean guarantee. It's an amazing system, and it further reduces your energy maintenance and cleaning cost. All right. So now when we go down here, you can look at your MDX R3 main drain. And I'm not going to go through all these links because I know you can click a button and look yourself. What I want to do down here is go to some of the things that we want to recommend. So we know you want a tanning ledge, so that would be $875. We had a bubbler on the tanning ledge, but you have a couple options. So standard bubbler is $449. An LED bubbler is $1,900. Deck jets. We don't have deck jets in your design, but you can click here and you can see what a deck jet looks like. Ba-da! There you go. So once again, we try to make it as easy as possible. Tile upgrades. I put links in here to the actual product brochures. This is the catalog of options. Now with tile, some things get discontinued and we don't know until we go to order it, but for the most part, that's going to be a good list to look at. Or if you want to look at handcrafted glass tile, you see the prices here. This is what those upgrades would cost you. You come down in here, this is the most important upgrade that you need to consider, and is the interior finish of your pool. So if you spent $1,631, $3,171, or $6,251, you are going to save yourself about $10,000 to $12,000 every 10 years because you're never going to have to refinish the interior of your pool. So it really is, like I got to tell you, I've been in this business for about 3 years. I've sold an average of 30 to 35 pools every single year. And I've never sold a pool except for one commercial pool. They don't allow aggregate finishes, but every single pool that I've sold has had pebble in it because the customers it was very clear to the customers what the value is. So I would say, look at these colors. Like if you click the link here, if you want to see what white diamonds looks like in a bunch of different pools, you can see what white diamonds looks like in a bunch of different pools. We can't make it any easier for you. If you want, most of my customers are going to fall into tier 2 because there's the most color options here. And it's still a fairly comfortable price point. Now, if you want to enhance any of the finishes, you can come down here, look at Shimmering Seas, and you can add abalone and mother of pearl to the mix to make it sparkle. And so you can look at those upgrades as well. And or what you can do is to do glass beads. You can take colored glass beads and add them to any mix as well. And you're going to see what those price points are here. And then, of course, they do have a really, really high end, which already has the Shimmering Seas and the Luminous mixed in. Obviously, not very cheap, but very beautiful. So this already has all that fun stuff mixed in. And you see the sparkle in that pool. It's absolutely gorgeous. So you have a lot of options to enhance the aesthetic of your pool. Now, we do not have the hardscapes listed yet because there's just so many options. I don't want to make things confusing. So I want you to come down here and look at this. So you can get broom finish concrete for $9,600, texture concrete for $13,600. You can get Belgard concrete pavers for $13,600. Herringbone, which is my favorite, herringbone travertine, ivory, silver, and noche for $17,600, so on and so forth. And what I've done here is put in some pictures of what those solutions look like. Okay, so, and it'll take just a second. So you can see that this pool is all ivory travertine for that. So we made it very, very easy for you, once again, to see examples of the things that you might want to include in your project. Automation, the only thing that's not included in standard automation is automating water features. So if you don't automate the water features, you're just going to turn a valve to turn on the waterfall or the bubbler. But if you want automation, it's $417 per type of water feature. You have 2 types of water features, a bubbler and a shear descent waterfall. So really yours would be $834. And what that does is it allows you to, because we have to add actuators to separate that functionality, and that's where that cost comes from. But it'll allow you to turn on all of your water features from your phone if you want to invest in that. Fire pits are very expensive for any pool builder. I say don't do it, but I do list the prices here just so you have them. But I would get something aftermarket and just set it where you want it. Potential additional costs, we talked about that. The only one that I think that might apply to you is dewatering if we hit groundwater. But I want you to see that there are other scenarios that we might run across that, like for example, if there's a tree stump buried that we didn't know about, we're going to have to remove it, and that's a little bit extra, et cetera, et cetera. And then financing options. Line Financial is here. That's the most popular. They will offer 100% financing up to 20 years. Very easy to work with both companies. Most of our customers end up going with Lion. And then if you want our warranty statement, you can click this. This is our updated warranty statement for the year, and you can read about all the warranties that we provide for every element of our construction. And then once again, contact information right down here. All right. Once again, guys, we really appreciate you. It was a lot of fun working with you. We are sorry that we're a couple days longer than usual in getting you the proposal, but we did want to take our time. We didn't want to make a mistake and rush anything. But what we will do is by the end of the weekend or by Monday, we'll have you that second proposal. Just keep in mind that pool, I'm going to make sure it's relatively the same size as the other pool, the pool we just designed. So it's going to be pretty much very close in price to what you've already seen on this proposal. But I do want to show you what that design will look like, because Annalise, I know that's the pool that you kind of pulled out right up front and wanted to get priced out. So we will, but this will at least get you a starting point. And then what we ask is that you talk about it and get us the feedback that we need to get you a final proposal and then maximize the discounts. We've already given you $1,000 off for a military discount, but there's more discounts to be had. We just need to know what you want to put into your pool. Now, I want you to be aware of the fact that there's a couple different strategies that are being used in the pool industry right now for trying to win business. One is the way we do it, which is extremely transparent. We're going to give you a level of transparency and the information that you need to make the best decision for you. But unfortunately, 9 out of 10 builders are not doing that. What they're doing is presenting an advertised price for a pool that is a lot lower than, like say, a proposal that we're going to give you, but completely unrealistic. They can't make money off of it. They know that. So what they're trying to do is get you to sign a contract for that, and they're not going to talk about any enhancements until after you sign a contract, because then what they're going to do is come back, upsell you, and charge you 2 to 3 times as much as what we charge on those elements. And I have proposals that I can show you that prove that point. So I want you to be very careful. Use our proposal as a benchmark and make sure you ask all the right questions so that you can have an apples to apples comparison. And I can tell you that even when customers think they're making an apples to apples comparison, every time I'm able to look at all the data, I'm able to say, no, that's not even close to apples, and that's why their price is lower than ours. We want you to have a very successful experience long-term. This is going to be your pool. It should be special. It should be your ideas and your design. We're just going to bring it to life by utilizing our expertise and our knowledge to try to steer you in a way that's going to get you to the finish line in a way that you're going to absolutely love. We really appreciate you both. We look forward to your feedback, and we'll talk to you very soon. Thanks. Bye.
Have a good one.